So
And you're saying that's most places in the world?
Yeah. So the sensation of organic, the sensation of free range, and all of
I
that.
mean sensation.
What I mean by sensation is that it is an American sensation that we have this idea of what is organic versus normal, right?
Yeah.
So you go to the.
Isn't that crazy? We view vegetables and fruits sprayed crazy with pesticides as regular
normal
fruit,
right? Isn't that a little bit fucked up, right?
A little bit at the least.
Yeah. When you put it that way, imagine you're going to the grocery store, right? You have an organic produce section, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the other stuff.
Quote regular.
Yeah, the regular
produce.
stuff. That regular stuff is the stuff that is pumped full of GMOs, is sprayed with shit that is meant to make it grow abnormally fast, abnormally large.
And last longer.
Yeah. And I mean, for even like the
For
idea
profit. I mean, that's for profit.
For profit. And yeah, it's to produce en masse. That's essentially all that it is. And that is the tame version of it. When you take a look at commercial beef, commercial pork, and even commercial chicken,
Talking about like those are they called factory farms?
Yeah, factory farms, like just massive slaughterhouses. I mean, oh my God.
And the antibiotics, that really messes with your health. Like that's not good whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the old expression is "you are what you eat." That isn't as true as "you are what you eats." You get what I'm saying? So
You are
what you eats. So if you're talking about meat, whatever the animal you're eating is consuming, and whatever is in that animal's body, that is what you are consuming as well. And
because you're getting those antibiotics, you're getting
Right.
those, you're even getting stress hormones because of the environment it's raised in.
Yeah, I mean,
antibiotics are a little bit more detrimental, but
yeah, I mean, all of that. And also, I think just as humans, we need to be responsible with that because it's cruel.
yeah,
I mean, I encourage anybody who's listening, and I mean yourself, if you haven't seen a video of these commercial factory farms, these gigantic slaughterhouses, it's horrifying and it's literally grotesque, and it makes me sick to my stomach to think about. I mean, to the point, I'm incredibly passionate about food. I'm incredibly passionate about what I do, and I mean, like I'll get emotional about it, but I mean, talking about this, I mean, it almost brings me to tears because
I mean, they torture animals.
Yeah, I mean, imagine a warehouse full of pigs that are literally just butts to nuts. They raise these
Butts to nuts.
Yeah, they raise these pigs. This is one thing that is just absolutely heartbreaking. Is they raise these pigs in such close proximity, and they raise them so fast. They pull them off of their mother's teat far too early, and they still have that inclination to suckle. So they have a tendency to want to suckle on the other pigs in their pen's tails, to the point where they literally, the farmers, I don't even want to give them that credit.
They're not farmers.
These butchers, these what would you call them?
Psychopathic, profit-driven bastards.
That was beautifully said. That was beautifully said. Yeah.
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, absolutely. No, these psychopathic, profit-driven bastards will cut these pigs' tails off, because if they don't, the other pigs will nibble on them, suck on them, to the point where they become infected. And so they cut their tails
off.
Yeah. And the fact that they have to do that, and those pigs have to go through that, is just, I mean, it's horrific. And then where they're kept, they're literally kept in cages that are wide enough and long enough for them to be able to stand up and lie down, and that is it. They have no room to sort of like roll around. They have no room to lie on their side. They're literally like encapsulated in a cage sleeping until they're butchered.
And I mean, not only is this like horrifying to think about, but it's also incredibly unhealthy to consume this meat.
Yeah,
I mean, it destroys. I mean, first of all, red meat in general isn't actually good for you.
Yeah,
I mean, you can get a lot of iron from it. The iron in it's way more absorbable than, you know, plant iron.
Yeah.
There are some. I mean, some people do the carnivore diet, and you know it works for them.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
wonder if they live to be 100, but
test results are pending.
yeah, we'll see about that. We'll ask. I think Jordan Peterson's on that. We'll ask Jordan Peterson. Well, we'll see. I mean, we won't need to ask him, but Noah. I mean, Noah. You like that,
dude? Side note, real quick. I hear people say my name all the time because people use that expression. No,
because they're like,
and I'll turn my head and I'll be.
That's got to be a trip, man. That's got to be such a trip.
It happens all the time. It happens. I'll hear my name and I'll just.
You'll look at these people like, oh, they're not speaking to me.
No, not at all. Not at all. But it's because, and I'll hear it like
I never
in the
thought
background.
about that.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Like I used to get that all the time, where I would think people were talking about me, and finally I realized I was like, my name is literally an expression that people say when they're thinking about something.
So common,
especially in the Midwest. You know, that's a very Midwestern expression.
Really?
No. And I think it's relatively common elsewhere, but it fits very much into the Midwestern colloquial. You know.
That's well, yeah. I never really thought about that, man. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, a little side note, but
I mean, that would probably drive me. Maybe you're used to it by now, but that would
Certainly,
drive me kind of nuts, man.
I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things where every now and again, you know, I whip my head around.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it's I'm very much used to it by now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, all it was really saying is, you know, these antibiotics, and something I learned about was the stress hormones too. It's if they don't develop properly, they release stress hormones which damage their tissues. They're like humans. You know, if you grow up in a war zone, you're going to have most likely more releases of stress hormones, which are going to affect your immune system, all these different things. But I mean, bottom line is, not only is this pretty horrifying to discover and hear, but I've never watched like any of these videos, but I mean, even you describing it to me, I don't want to watch them because I'm pretty much, the only thing I really eat is chicken, and only if it's antibiotic free and free range.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily because of moral reasons, more because I try to avoid antibiotics, and if they don't put antibiotics in, 90% of the time it's free range. It was raised, you know, pretty well.
Yeah.